My name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I just finished recording the video you're about to see about getting over your ex rapidly or possibly winning them back, but mostly getting to a place where you feel so loved inside that you're not looking for unrequited love anymore. You're not looking for someone that's out there that's not choosing to love you, because you're learning what your own blocks were, why you weren't loving yourself, why you thought you needed the other person to do it first. It's a repetition of our childhood, because we were meant to get that from our parents, and when our parents don't know how to do that from their own woundedness, then we keep getting used to not having and wanting and wanting and not having. And so we keep finding people who are unavailable like them, or they seem available like our parents seemed at first, and then we're not getting the love that we wanted. But then this video is like, it takes an hour in my session work with clients to really get to the underlying layers and weave the pattern and show like word pictures so you understand how to build your building on a better foundation, like build your life on something different. Because energetically right now you can learn all the words, and I could just tell you right now, here's the solution, but right now you're energetically a match to continue to be pining after love and not getting it. So we want to move to a place where you're energetically a match, where love is flowing in you and you feel love and you know you are love. I am love, and you're allowed to have love and you're allowed to receive love. And we look at like why we keep looking to the other person and how there are hidden ways that we are doing that. And so anyway, I invite you to join me. Here we go into the other part, the teaching part of this. I just wanted to give you a summary this time. So much love. Hi, I'm Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and today we're going to talk about getting over your ex quickly or getting him back or her back. There's a possibility of that. This is going to be deep though. I thought it was going to be this fun thing. It'll still be fun, but just be prepared. It's worth doing the work. This video can really change your life, because I know I already feel like it shifted so much in me this morning. So I started videoing right now because I'm outside, and look, let's see if we can get this. That cactus, burnt cactus, looked like a heart to me. So let's go up here. I'll start running. I do these videos in nature because so many people were stuck inside for such a long time. And it's so pretty, it grounds us. So I just got to the quickest place I could get for today so we can get right into this. All right, I'll go to the ledge. It's really pretty up here. It's all grown over. That's funny, I forgot. I used to sit right there. Like a week ago, it just grows up fast. All right, so let's get to this. I trust there'll be an opening. All right. I just go higher up on the path. It's kind of like life. Okay. So the essence of how to get over someone quickly is to understand, what are you waiting for? What are you looking for in that other person? What do you think that they can bring you that you don't have? So like I was saying, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer. I'm a psychologist, but mostly I'm just a person that really studies on my own anyway, and I studied this in school, but this is more on my own. The dynamics in relationships, the energetic dynamics in relationships. I'm defining it more as the energy, what how you are involved in a relationship and how you can shift or use alchemy or whatever you want to call it to shift your energy so that it's like magic, but it's not. It's just you're learning how to, just like people learn how to manage their money and manage their resources. This is managing your energy so you can shift it to a different place so you can operate in a more aligned way, a more healthy way. I have bracelets that remind me. Here's a bracelet. But, if you understand chakras, there's a chakra center. And then what we're talking about today is also this last bracelet right here, which maybe we'll get to that. They're just symbols of the transformation that takes place. So this one is a symbol of, when we're closed off from relationships, we're like this stone in the middle. And then it's a stone, and then there's a circle around it that's blue that represents, for me, it represents water. So you have your emotions involved. And then there's another circle around it, which is red. And that to me, it represents the water turning into wine, which represents a refined emotions. You have your emotions, you have your feelings, you're aware of them, you're more conscious, and you know how to direct them. So you're not, they say 90% of our actions come from subconscious, but the more you get aware and conscious, the more you can change that and direct that. So your life isn't just, you're not walking around unconscious. And so what happened to me today is I really wanted to work this out for my own self. And I thought it would just be light work, oh, let's make this fun video, how to get over our ex quickly, because I want to learn how to get over heartbreak, never had it, no. And how to just move on and let go of a person or a group of people or a group of destructive people or any kind of toxic people in your life. This is how to let go of them and see that they are your teachers. They're teaching you what you feel like you're missing, because we're waiting around for a reason. We keep pining after someone who's not invested in being in our lives right now in a real, tangible, physical way, or in a way that matches our longing for closeness. And if we keep waiting for those people, we put our life on hold and we stagnate. And so I did not want to stagnate in my life. There's no way, like I'm not signing up for that if there's a way for me to go over that. So let's go to, this time I wrote stuff down. I saw a video yesterday where a guy he wrote stuff down. And I usually just talk about this stuff, but we'll try it different today. All right. That was the subtitle or the main title is You Choose You. And so this process that I'm talking about, let me get some water, is about you choosing yourself. This is about you learning how to choose yourself and why you've not been choosing yourself. You think you're choosing you to like, well, if this person loves me, then I'll be loved and then I'm choosing me. But it's like you're choosing them. I'm trying to open this water. And you're insisting that they are the ones that are going to heal you. And when we insist that, we go back to this child position. I do one down here and one up here, one down here. One up here is you're in one down position, you're in a waiting position, again, waiting for your parents to show up in the form of this other person, waiting for the love that I didn't get in childhood in the form of this other person. Wow. It's so beautiful. Like, look at even just us talking right now. We're so caught up in this subject, and it's like, remember to look up and look out. There's so much more in the world than this problem, but this problem is also very important to heal. I think it is. But part of healing is learning how to be present. I keep learning or reminding myself of some truth that I learned from some mystic. that all the love we need is right here in this moment. Before I speak, before I teach you this, before anything, it's right here in this moment. I know that just sounds like words to some of you right now, but if you take a deep breath and blow out all your worries, all your old definitions of yourself, all your thoughts that this other person is going to heal you. Just let it go for a second. All right, now let's begin. So I often say this as, although I am a psychologist, this is teaching right now. We're just talking. If you need a psychologist to help you with this problem, then go find one locally or over telehealth and however you can. So, all right, the example that came to mind is like, imagine, this is what I do use with clients often, is imagine that you are performing on a stage. Our life is a stage. Does Shakespeare say that? So if you imagine that you're on a stage, and what we do is we often set aside the first row and the second row and the third row, let's say for our family and friends or whatever. Or if you just imagine that what you're doing right now is for your ex-girlfriend or your ex-boyfriend or whomever, you're setting aside, as if they could take up 3 whole rows of seats, but you're setting aside the first 3 rows of your audience for these people or your parents in some capacity to show up and give you what you were missing, right? The love that you were missing in childhood. And this is a love that you're meant to have. You're meant to have the fullness of love. I tried to go to a place where people weren't going to interrupt us, but as soon as I said that, then I'm like, I'm putting up. Anyway, whatever happens will happen, and we'll deal with what happens. All right, so let me read for a second. So we set aside these 4 rows for this family. I mean, for our parents, or for this ex that's choosing not to invest in our lives right now. Instead, they're investing in addictions or numbing, or just, I'm afraid of intimacy or closeness or affection, or of knowing you, of knowing me. Basically what I was seeing is that because it's easy for us to see the other person. It's easy. There's 2 butterflies again. Anyway, it's easy for us to see the other people. This is why they can be great teachers for us, because it's so easy for us to judge other people and see what we think they're doing wrong. If only this person was decent, if only this person would show up, if only he or she wasn't afraid of intimacy, if only she would, or he would call or reach out or connect or want to be with me or follow through or whatever. It's so easy for us to see this in other people. But how we choose to get over them, how we can get over them quickly or win them back, is to heal the dynamic inside of us that's broken. We're actually, I know the end of this because I worked through it this morning in myself with a lot of tears again. Wasn't planning that, but it's important to get yourself to a place where you can be free to feel your emotions, because they say when you feel it, you can heal it. And otherwise it gets trapped and stuck in you. And what we're actually trying to do is avoid that place of the pain. We don't want to feel more pain. So we keep putting it off. This is why we judge other people too. We keep putting it off on other people because if we face our own shortcomings, then or the loss that we feel like we're going to have. If I let go of my ex, that's letting go of something I'm holding on to. And if I've had a lot of losses in my childhood, then that's me letting go of something else. I don't want to let go of something else because it just feels like I'm I'm going to have more loss. Why would I want to incur more loss in my life? I've already had enough loss. So it's like a paradox, you know? I think C.S. Lewis says something about there's necessary pain and there's unnecessary pain. And it's like if your leg broke and it started healing it in the wrong way, where there wasn't a doctor or someone knowledgeable, a medicine woman, you know, or a doctor can be a man or a woman because I'm a doctor, and but a medicine woman or someone who's knowledgeable to set that bone in the right place, so it can heal properly. Then it's like it's going to be really painful to have it. I just thought of the Twilight movie. Sorry, it's so funny. To have it, I'll tell you why, but to have it broken and then set back in the right place so that it can heal, so that you can use your leg to its fullest extent. I just thought of Jacob when his ribs were crushed or something, and he had to have the doctor break his ribs again in order to set them in the right place. Poor guy. Poor good-looking Jacob. You know, Team Jacob, Team Edward, whatever. All right, that was a long time ago. Okay, so, all right. So if our ex has gone off and we're waiting for our ex, and hi. No, I'm making a video on psychology stuff in nature. Yeah, right? It's so pretty. Have a great day. That's so funny. Am I painting? Yes, I'm painting. We're painting your life. We're painting your life. I don't know if you heard, maybe, yeah, I can turn that part down. There's these beautiful women down there. Oh, with walking sticks. They're rad. You can hear their accents, you know. I'm not saying that people in California aren't that cool. They totally are. We are everywhere. Anyway, so, all right. Oh, well, I'm not from here. That's okay. So, so we think that our ex is afraid of intimacy and closeness and knowing of us. And I'm afraid to heal myself enough to be present in a conscious relationship with you. This is the path I choose. Oh, if that's the path you choose, then you choose you. Okay, so what I'm saying in this is, I think what I was doing was giving an ex a voice to say, this is what I think they ought to say if they're going to apologize or they're going to notice where they are. And you'll see, this is my own psyche talking about my own condition. But it's easier to look at someone else. So, okay, I just realized what happened. I'm like, why am I getting all critical about making this video right now? It's because I was in this place of talking to you about judging another person. It turns all this judgment on in yourself, and then you start judging yourself. I'm like, why am I judging myself? But I just became aware that I was judging myself because I'm talking about it in this video. So anyway, it's important to do that, to notice what's going on, how you're operating. All right, so if I say about this other person, oh, you're choosing to walk away, you're for who knows why, for fear, for addictions, for numbing yourself, or just I'm afraid of intimacy or closeness, of affection, of knowing of you, of knowing me. I'm afraid to heal myself enough to be present in a conscious relationship with you. This is the path that I choose. Okay, if that's what they choose, then you choose you, or if it looks like what they're choosing. So I talk about with my clients too, is stop leaving a space for them. And when we do that, okay, so imagine you're on this play and you're doing your action and, your life, you're playing out your life, and the first 3 rows are empty. And you keep looking down and you're trying to do your play and they're empty. They're like this, but this beautiful nature. And so as you do that, you keep reiterating to yourself, I must not be worth it. They're not here yet. Are they coming? Are they coming? No, they're not here yet. And it's like, why am I setting aside these first 3 rows for these people to show up in my life that aren't choosing? This is not the first show that they haven't shown up to. So we look at, why are they doing that? I mean, not why are they doing that? Why am I doing that? Look, there's some butterflies. Why am I choosing to leave this space for them? And then I wrote down here, because it makes yourself, this is not why, but let's find out. Because when you do this, you make yourself feel so empty, so bad, because you're out doing your performance. And think, oh yeah, that's what the song I was thinking, the sun will come out tomorrow, your Annie performance. Nuh-uh, you deserve the sun today. So I don't think I need to be reading. I think I just need to be talking to you guys about this stuff. It's important. But I'll read through this and then we can talk about it. How about that? You're choosing fear too, and to stagnate your own life, like I was saying, waiting for them to get it, quote, get it, that you are worth knowing, you are worth choosing, you are worth taking responsibility for your own destructive and subconscious actions. You are worth seeing and knowing and approaching. If you are worth all these things, then some part of you is not knowing that, or you wouldn't set aside these seats. These first 2 rows would not be empty for them. First 3 rows. You would magnetize to yourself other people that also know your worth, because you know your worth. And those people find those seats. They just find them. And they show up. But instead, we're leaving these seats open for what is called familiar, the word familiar is like family. And so our family of origin, our family that we grew up in, are the ones that teach us what our worth is by their actions. It's not our true worth. They don't teach our true worth. They teach their understanding of our worth. And their understanding, that's why it's called a limiting belief, because their understanding can be very limited. And why should we limit ourselves to their limited understanding of our worth? I always use the example of, if we're on a desert island and a baby floats up in a basket, we're not going to just go, oh, well, are you going to Harvard when you grow up? And if you do, then I'm going to love you and take care of you. It's like, we would take care of that baby. That baby is worth 100% of love. Or if we found a baby crying in a dumpster, we'd make sure to take care of that baby, or make sure to get him or her into a family where she's going to be loved or he's going to be loved. And so it's about learning how to show the same amount of worth to yourself, and look at the discrepancy and go, just notice, without trying to make yourself love this person of yourself. Go, I wonder why. Why do I treat myself differently, with less love than I would for a baby that came to me on a deserted island I was on, or a baby that I would find in a dumpster? I would make sure that he or she got cared for and loved and nurtured in closeness. So you're worth taking responsibility for your own destructive and subconscious actions. That's what we're doing right now. You are worth seeing and knowing and approaching, and fearlessly approaching. And if you look at, where's your commitment to do this for yourself? We keep saying they ought to be committed to me. Why aren't you committed to you? You are committed to keep these 3 rows open for someone who's in this present moment not choosing to show up, and in that you're communicating to yourself, all your worth is worth waiting for the love, waiting for the promise of love, waiting for someone who says they really love you, but they're not choosing to act on it. And that's their choice. It's a free world. Like, people have freedom of choice. that person can never choose to show up and love you, or they can keep promising you, and if the promises work, then they don't have to do the work, because guess what? For them to do the work to show up and be intimate with you is the same pain as I had to face this morning that I did not want to face. And so what we do subconsciously, again, is we try to put off facing the pain. And so if that person, like, some people are malicious, but let's say that person is not malicious at all. They just don't want to face more pain. They've had a lot of pain and loss in their life, and they don't want to face it. And so if you just keep accepting their promises that I do feel this love for you, I do love you, but they're not choosing to show up for you in your life in a real capacity, in a committed way or whatever, or at all, then you show what you want by what you do. They're showing what they want to do is procrastinate doing their inner work and their inner healing, and they don't want to face more pain. They've decided they're afraid of facing their pain or whatever. Doesn't matter. The reality, it doesn't matter. We don't have to be their psychologist or analyst or understand what's going on. It helps sometimes for us to know then the reality is they're not showing up. Those seats are empty, and you want to have a great life and a fun life and enjoy being you and enjoy doing a performance that people will appreciate. Like, I go to this one club in LA and everyone is quiet. Excuse me. That's funny. My voice. Everyone's quiet. Everyone, like, you're not allowed to be on your cell phones. Don't talk on them. Don't look at them. Like, don't text upon them. Like, they have these funny rules. They say that. But people there really want to hear the music and the nuances of the music and the subtlety of the music. It's a little strict there for me, because I like, a little bit of, talking to the person next to me and like, what did you think of that or whatever. But, oh, there's the heart again. You see the tree formation over there reminds me of a heart. My birthday is the day before Valentine's, so I'm just always seeing hearts. They come up in my life. And I have this heart necklace. I put it on this morning, even though I don't usually put it on for hiking. It says love on it. So we can complain all we want about our unavailable partner or our unavailable exes or unavailable friends or whatever. But we just start looking at, wait, why do we keep inviting this person back in our life and waiting for them? And the main answer is often, usually, go back to your childhood and see how you had these loving parents, that took care of you. And so you saw love from them. You're like, your mom held you when you were first born, most likely. And so it's like, you think that they're going to keep loving you, but you got a taste of love. And then all of their own baggage is that they haven't worked on, and all of the parents that they're waiting for, and the unavailable love that they're waiting for starts to interfere in how they parent us. And so whatever they don't have, it's like whatever you have, you can give away. And so if they're lacking in love, they can't give us more than they're allowing themselves to have. And so if they're afraid to work on their own pain and they're acting in their subconscious, then we're missing it. So we learn that you're worth someone telling you you're worth loving, and I love you, but I'm not going to show it, and I'm not going to be present. And you don't get real intimacy. You get me promising you stuff. And like I was saying, if the guy or the woman can get away with just promising you and not doing the work, and you keep accepting that, you're accepting that kind of behavior, then they can put off. They don't have to do their own inner work. And then they're not going to show up in your life. And guess what? It's a quote, win-win. Hold on, there's a bug on me. Because you're not doing your own inner work too. Because you don't realize how much you're resisting it, because it's painful to do inner work. But it's pain that, like, I feel like, I don't know how to say this. It's like I feel like a completely different person today. I was going to say, like, there's 20% more of me right now than there was of me, of my authentic self this morning, But it doesn't even feel like 20%. It feels like 100% of me. It's like if I had 50 layers of me, a false self that I didn't realize, and like 40 of those layers came off, and there's only 10 layers left, and I've been working really hard before this to work on the other layers. So think about that for a second, because it's like the pain that I faced this morning, for about half an hour or an hour of writing this and half an hour of that was worth it to take off 40 layers of false self that I was living behind, that I didn't know my real self, because she was behind all this pain and victim. And I didn't realize I was in a victim mentality, because when you're waiting for someone else, you're not powerful. You are powerful, but you're putting yourself in a not powerful position, because you think you need the other person to show up in order for you to be healed. It's the same thing when you don't forgive someone. When you don't forgive them, you're saying, you owe me this. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. You owe me this. So you keep thinking, I'm missing this debt. I will never have this $1 million worth of love and affection, whatever. I will never have this until this person pays up, and it's like, no, you can have it right now. You can have the fullness of love right now, just like you could pick up that baby that washes up on the shore and start loving him or her right now. But you don't realize it because we're still waiting subconsciously for our parents. I hope you're understanding this. Okay, so I'm going to keep reading. I'm committed to dealing with my own baggage, my own stuff, whatever baggage, whatever pain, whatever trauma, whatever sadness, whatever may come up, in order for me to be able to be close enough to have a cherished, rare, incredible, deep, meaningful, and real relationship with you. This is what we wish the other person would say, right? But we're going to learn how to do that with ourselves. If you're willing, then I am willing to do that. I choose that path now. I choose me. I let go of the fear path. My inner masculine, you have feminine energies and masculine energies. So instead of, like I'm talking about waiting for a guy, instead of waiting for that guy, look at how the inner masculine in you is not communicating honestly with you. I didn't realize my inner masculine was lying to myself, or just waiting around and didn't want to heal this part of him. Didn't want to show up in my life. Or my inner feminine was feeling like she didn't deserve it. She didn't deserve to receive, because she's still waiting for, my parents to show up, this part of me. So it's like turning your inner masculine, your inner feminine, from distorted masculine and distorted feminine, we can talk about that, other people talk about that on YouTube, into a divine masculine and a divine feminine, the sacred masculine, sacred feminine, the highest order of the way of love, of operating with yourself, within yourself, and with other people too. It's worth developing this. But I thought I had to be loyal, quote loyal, by leaving all these rows open for my parents, like my parents and this ex, or whomever fills those places. Because our parents are like, why didn't you leave me the front row? Why didn't you leave me VIP tickets? And it's like, you know what? We'll find out. I thought I had to be loyal and leave them all these rows of seats at my show, but that's not loyal to love. This is why. That's loyal to fear. They've already shown by their actions before that they're not willing, or not able, or don't think that they're able, or don't think, the same thing as capable, or didn't do their own shadow work, don't want to do their own inner work, don't know they can do their own inner work. Whatever it is that keeps them numb to love and keeps them numb to showing up, and running off to whatever they run off to instead of showing up at this show to be present. It's not like a show, like fake. It's like the reality of your beautiful life. And it's just like sometimes I see this after I talk to a shaman. It like really blew my mind. But it's like we're in a matrix and you see all the players around you. So it's like one of those like a reality show, but not a show, you're just present. But anyway, let's just say it's on a stage for the sake of this video, so we understand. So what happened was I was being loyal to them instead of loyal to love. If I often talk about Christ, because I see him as so many things, but one of the things he is loving, is fully loving, the most fully loving human, and a master at that. and so a teacher in that way. And so if he says, I have come to give you the fullness of love, the abundance of love, and come with me and walk in this way of love, in this way of truth, then I look at that, I understand that mystically. I understand it on a lot of levels too, but one of the ways I understand it is learning how to align yourself with love and let go of anything else that is not of love. If you're loyal to anything less than love, then you go off in that direction, and that's all you're going to get. You know, you're going to get the perishable things that are not of love. And so when you choose love over these people that are promising you and not showing up, then you're aligning yourself back with love, and you're teaching yourself how to love yourself on a higher level, higher scale. They're afraid to show up and be close to you. You are worth closeness. As long as you don't let go of creating this front row space for them, these first 3 rows, then you're choosing fear as well. You're choosing, I'm afraid of them rejecting me even more if I don't give them these VIP tickets and leave these front row seats for them. And if we let go of our parents when we're 4, you know, we could die. So it does, I want you guys to understand, this is why it does feel like we're facing death. It feels like we're facing death. This is why the other people don't want to face this and learn how to be intimate with you, and they keep making excuses because we accept the excuses, because they're going to go to a place where it's like a furnace, you know, it's like the crucible or whatever, you know, it's like the burning of the dross off so that this can be pure silver, pure gold. It's a death of our ego, and our ego does not want to die. And our ego is like our child, the child part of us that says, I don't want to lose my parents. If I let go of having these rows, I'll lose my parents. But the child part is the part of us that's getting neglected right now, that's not being loved, that says they will show up, they will show up. And so they keep making us those promises, and then we're making those promises to the child part of ourselves. And you're just making promises, and you feel the betrayal within yourself. But I'll get to that, because that was the really painful part. So you are worth closeness as long as you don't let go of this front row space for them. You're choosing fear as well. I'm afraid that they're going to reject me more. You are blocking that space for others to show up who have done this inner work. I remember asking my therapist, this is so many years ago, like over 15 years ago, I won't say how much more, but I remember asking her, you know, or she said something like, Cheryl, if you wanted to date available men, you would find available men to date, you know? And I'm like, they come like that? It just didn't make sense to me that there were actual men who have done the inner work, who were available to be present and wanted to be in a real relationship, not just saying they wanted to be, but actually showed up. Because they long for closeness too, and they create it in their own selves and are fearless to go to these deep places inside and face pain and face the tears. It might be tears for a little while, but you're not going to die, because I am still here. I keep saying that in my videos. I am still here. I made it through. I feel like I'm like a pioneer. I'll go to these lands for us and then talk about where I was and show you that I'm still alive, so you can go there too. I don't talk here out of fakeness. I talk here out of being there myself. And so people who have done the work, who are not afraid of intimacy. I just thought of an example this morning. My godmother was telling me, when I lived in Montreal, if you keep hanging out with these guys, I had these amazing guy friends, but they were in a band. And I was only living in Canada for a year. And so I didn't want to get, to date anyone and be serious, because I was going to leave. And they were touring and stuff, so they didn't want to be serious with anyone. But like, I wanted to be around male energy, and they wanted to be around female energy, and like, it's just safe and fun way. And so we'd all hang out with each other. But it's like, my godmother was like, Cheryl, I'm not making fun of her. She has this accent a little bit from like East Coast-ish. But she's like, if you keep hanging out with all these guys, you're not leaving space for someone who really wants to pursue a real relationship with you that offers real intimacy. This space is taken up with you spending your time with them. And I remember, this is why it came up this morning, because it stuck in my mind then, to think about that, and is that what I consciously want to be doing? And, if I did, then fine, and it was really fun. I loved those guys. And they loved me, it was easy and fun, like I said, to hang out. But she was also observing, and that's keeping you from dating available men, like I just said. So yesterday, I quote, happened to see this person. Well, it was a guy, but it doesn't matter that it's a guy right now in this part of the story, is that I was at this place where people were doing a service, let's say, of some kind. And at the end, I was waiting for one of my girlfriends because she was helping clean. And I wanted to talk to her because I missed her, go figure, in all this time. And I saw this guy push this dolly, and it went across to this other guy that was stacking chairs. And I didn't know I was going to be doing this talk today, but when I was writing all this down, this teaching for us, the spirit, or whatever you want to call it, my intuition showed me the picture of that guy throwing the dolly over, sliding it over because I was on wheels to the other guy while he's stacking chairs up. And it was just a vivid image, because I always ask Divine Love or the Creator, and I ask in trust, bring to my present world everything that I need to heal today, to heal everything in me that needs healing or whatever, bring it across my path. And that was brought across my path yesterday as an example for this, is you just throw that dolly over there, wheel it over there, stack up those chairs. Like, let's say they're director's chairs and they have their names on them. You just stack those chairs up and take them away. Move the other chairs that were behind forward. It's not hard. It's an easy motion to move the chairs. It's just, why aren't we willing to let go of that, keeping that space for those people? I was just saying, I wrote down how I ask for everything that I need to love well and to heal. I ask for it to be brought across my path, like those women earlier, the paths down there. Like, I'm sure they will come back into my psyche for some kind of healing, or they already were for our video, who knows, for someone, So this revelation showed up. All of this showed up not just because of an ex and wanting to get over, but because also I have kids, and one of my kids wouldn't mind me. I was like, it's time to go to bed. Okay, mom, and I noticed myself getting really angry. And then I was like, wait a second, I want to understand why I'm getting so angry. Shakespeare also has this quote that says, methinks thou dost protest too loudly. When you get all angry at someone, notice your feelings. It's not to push down your feelings. It's to go, wait a second, I'm getting really angry because my child is not respecting me, is not doing what I wish him to do, and I wish this person to show up and love me, just like I wish my mom and dad would have showed up and loved me in my childhood. But guess what? I don't have power over them. I do have the responsibility to direct my child. But here, I'll show you the drawing. I'll just show you the drawing. This right here is like my child did. I'm going to draw it here. My child did this one part right here. He's not going to bed. Okay? Let's see. And my parents didn't show up in all of these ways in childhood and didn't do what I wish they would have done. What they ought to have done is love me. And so let's say this is my healed part, But what happens is when I yell at my child with all of this vehemence and anger from all my old baggage, that child is really sensitive, or any of us would be, and shuts down. This child shuts down because that is not his to take on. That's not his at all. And so he's like, forget it. Screw this, and gets mad back at me, and we create a reactive, repetitive cycle back and forth. Or he just learns to numb himself because I yelled at him so loudly. I didn't last night, thank God, because I was aware of my anger, and I was aware that it was about some old wound that I wanted to be healed. But it looked like it was about him not respecting me and not minding me. But I knew that my anger was far too great for, I'm like, why am I so mad at him not going to bed right now? And it's like, or not getting off the computer. And it's like, if you're so mad at 99 other people who didn't show up in your life, or it's really just your parents, but let's just say it's 99 other people, and when your child is not obeying you in that one, oh, look at this hawk right above me. Oh, we're so lucky. I hope, yeah, you see it, it's right there. That's so awesome. This child that didn't mind me is representing all these other people that I can't control, that aren't loving me the way I wish they would love me, you know? And so when I got aware of that, then see, if I don't want to get all mad, I can just shut it down and just ignore it and not teach my child that it's important that you get sleep. And that's my job, to teach him this. But I could just let everyone walk all over me because I don't want to deal with my anger, because I'm afraid of my anger, because it's so huge. But it's huge because of my old pain, you know? And when I'm aware of it, then I can say to my kid, I'm going to go, hey, you know what? It's important you choose to get off right now, or you're not getting your computer until 3 o'clock tomorrow instead of 2 o'clock, or whatever the time is, you know what I mean? And I don't have all this anger behind it, and I can totally stick to that. But what happens is I can't stick to my boundaries when I have all this anger that I don't want to feel, that I push down because I've numbed myself, because I don't like feeling that anger, because I hated when people were so angry at me as a child. And I was so sensitive to that. You know, we can be really sensitive to that. And so we, instead of dealing with all our feelings, we have all this suppressed anger and obsessions that come up, and addictions, and all of these things that we use to numb our feelings because we don't like that anger. But anyway, so mad is about, I talked about this in a different video, is I'm invested in that person giving a damn. Mad backwards, M-A-D-D-A-M. And so why am I so invested in that other person giving a damn about me? I choose to give a damn about myself. When you choose to care for these old wounded places of yourself, they're not going to be wounded anymore. And so all of this stuff, let's show you this picture. All of this stuff right here, all of that gets healed. And when someone does this one thing, you have just like a little bit of baggage left, let's say. And all of this is hearts and love, because you learned how to be intimate and close with yourself. And then you can address this problem a lot easier, even when you go unconscious, because you haven't gone into this black hole mess abyss. And so if I love me, if I choose me, you choose you. If I give a damn about myself, then it doesn't matter if they do or not. It revealed that I had this expectation of my child. I have this hidden expectation of my ex, my exes, my parents. And if I choose, to choose honoring me, I wish they would choose to honor me. They don't have to. Because right now, when I keep waiting for them to do it and my child to do it, and I didn't realize that I was blocking myself from doing it, then I'm missing it. It's like I was saying to one of my friends, I got to talk to one of my girlfriends the other day, and this deep problem that we were going into is like, if I go into the grocery store, I'm starving, I haven't eaten for 8 days, I'm going to just want to take everything that I can, and I'm going to, be angry at people that get in my way or whatever, if I had enough energy to actually go to the grocery store. But, after 8 days of not eating, whatever. I'm just saying, you know how I would be. This is the same as when you're missing this love, then we get so angry at the other people who are also not giving it to us. If you have it, if I have breakfast and then a snack and then lunch, and then I'm going to the grocery store to pick up my groceries, I'm gonna be all chill and zen and like, oh, this is so fun. I wonder what we ought to get for dinner. What are we gonna create? Blah 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 blah. And this is how it is when you choose to honor yourself and show up for yourself in a more intimate and more loving way. Like, I feel so much closer to myself today than I did yesterday, and I didn't realize how much I was missing yesterday until I have it today. I feel it, and it feels so good. It feels so good. So let's get you there so I can not make this video longer than an hour. An hour is like an hour session, but okay. So it's They don't have to. My kid reacts big time if I put all the loving that I'm missing from childhood onto him. It's not his job. His job is to get off the computer and go to bed when I tell him. But when he's not doing that, like I said, I have all the anger from my childhood of my parents not loving me or choosing to be close to me when I insisted that they have to make that choice. I am worth it. I am worth it. They ought to have made that choice. They didn't make that choice for whatever lack or pain or loss or whatever is in them. It doesn't mean you weren't worth it. You said, guess what? I said, it's not our job to change other people who have free choices. See their choice. We are not recognizing and respecting their choice. They are choosing no-show, distance, numb, not closeness, too afraid, or unwillingness. Whatever the blank is influencing them. I had lots of ideas in my mind of what I could fill in that blank. But to be absent from offering closeness to you, to me, to take that dolly that's pushed over from across the room, stacking up those chairs, and push it over to this other part of yourself. You can stack those chairs up right now and let them go. But if we experience a lot of loss in childhood, we don't want to experience the loss of leaving that space for our parents. Then we really have to say goodbye to we had this old hope that they were going to show up, and it's painful to let go of that because we'd rather have this hope that this person we love so much is going to show up, And it's like, guess what? When we're doing that, you're not offering you the love that you are worth loving. You're worth showing up for yourself right now. And I always say to my clients, like, they can go find folding chairs in the back of the stadium, They can standing room only. They can do that. They can show up in that capacity. You don't have to leave any space for them. If they want to show up, then they'll find a way to show up. But we move on with our life by you showing up for you. You choose you. So that, move those chairs. They can reupholster them, take out the little stitching like director's chairs, and not have those names in them. You can choose to be courageous and offer yourself closeness, intimacy, following the highest calling, fearlessness, courage, victory. Get the privilege of finding the other people actually that are this way. Get the privilege. You're not leaving room for those people to have that they get the privilege because they worked for it. They've done the inner work of finding these seats themselves because they resonate with your worth. The exes, the family, the parents, whomever, that's what I already said, can find folding chairs in the back. Because you want everyone to know this love. So you're no longer energetically, it's about your energy. Because you're vibrating, it's like I say, it's like you're wearing a t-shirt that's saying a message, that's saying, I'll wait for you, I'll leave a space for you. All these spaces are empty for you. Oh, look, I'm going to do this performance that I worked so hard to do, my performance of Annie, the orphan that's adopted. And you practice well your lines. There's people that made the whole stage and the makeup and the crew and the lighting, and there's a lot that went into this. And they don't have to understand that. They don't have to, but you understand that. So you don't save those spaces for them because they've not shown up to the last 4 plays that you've done. So those spaces are no longer there for them. Those are there for people who really enjoy the music and the art and the drama of it, and you, and wanting to see you be you. And so they're going to be present and they choose to show up. So you're no longer energetically waiting for them, giving yourself the repeated message that you must not be worth this closeness because the first 3 rows are empty. That's you being afraid of intimacy without realizing it. I didn't realize it. That is you giving away the definition of your worth. This is the energy of you staring at, I think it's 5 cups. There's a card that shows 3 cups spilled over, and there's 2 cups, and the 2 cups represent a relationship. Or maybe it's the 10 of cups, so it's like 8 cups spilled over, and the 2 cups are, whatever. Maybe it's 3 of cups. You keep looking, anyway, whatever, you're looking at the cups that are spilled over on the ground instead of the 2 that are still upright with the water, and the water represents emotion. And that equals a relationship. So it's like we're missing the love. I look at you now, see the love there that's sleeping. That's a song that just kept coming up earlier in the video while I was making this. While my guitar gently beats. Anyway, so it's like there is love. There are people that have done the work, that are ready for intimacy, that are ready for closeness, but we don't see them because all of our energy is in waiting for these people, which is avoiding facing our own fear of intimacy. If we didn't have a fear of intimacy, then we would be available. We would have done the shadow work to be present with the other people that are not afraid of intimacy. So you're the one reserving for these unavailable people instead of the thousands of people in rows 4 through 100. That's not honoring those that have done the work to be intimate and close with you, like the divine love and soul team, that's what I put, and the angels and all those other people on earth that are like earth angels or whatever. People have done the work to be conscious. I know people who are conscious, and it feels really, really good to be with those people. And for me, oh my gosh, look, there's a bobcat. Wow, I've never seen one. Wow, I've never seen one out here. Oh, there's another one. I walk by here all the time. Wow. So, those who are available, so maybe I just want to stay here in sadness, perpetual loss, because then I can't see, I'm too sad to have this love, and I can keep blaming other people for my lack of this love. I don't want to do that. Though that's what I was saying was vibrating in my life recently, is what I've been seeing is I do have deep, intimate friends that are showing up in like so much larger capacity than ever I experienced before, because I am becoming more and more authentic with myself. But it's like that sticking power and like having it in a more intimate relationship, that's different. It's like that goes back to our childhood. It's like you're not allowed to have it only in limited doses, you know, because our parents gave it to us in limited doses. My limited doses are expanding, so it's really fun. But learning how to be this with myself is then I'll get used to that feeling of having it. And I'll know the worth that I already know in my head. I'll know it by treating myself with worth. And so letting go of those rows, letting go of these people, seeing the reality of what is these people are not showing up. Therefore, goodbye, bye, bye. I move on. Instead of staying in the sadness, because then I'm too sad to love me and too sad to love other people, or I keep myself in a victim position. As soon as I recognize that I'm getting so mad at my child for not obeying me, I see that I'm asking and expecting him to heal some old wound that I'm not willing to heal. So show me I'm worth respecting. And then I put Alchemy 101, you know, is no, I get to transform this energy in light and mint. And I put it like this, look, in light and mint. You're letting light in. Awareness. Once you get awareness of this, kind of thinking about the bobcats a little. See, it's like facing our fear. I could stop doing this video. I'm not going to. Just be aware that they are right by that tree I pass every time on this trail. But it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so I can let myself feel the sadness once and for all. I was probably avoiding this sadness. Yes, by leaving this space for them, I didn't deal with reality as it was being presented to me right now. Your parents are no-show. Your ex is dating someone else. Aww, that's okay. It's okay. It has nothing to do with your worth. Once you know how to get this love, you're not starving anymore. You don't need the ex. Once, it doesn't matter if they're dating someone else because your worth has nothing to do. There's a hawks up there. Bobcats down there, hawks up here. There's deer sometime too, and bunnies. Let's think about the bunnies. But anyway, it has no relevance anymore, because if your ex is dating someone else and you define your worth by that person, it's like defining our worth by our parents who abandoned us or abused us or yelled at us or whatever. That's how we learned our worth, but that's not what your worth is. Once you learn that you're 100% worth 100% of the time, then it doesn't matter who they go off to, because you're not going to be missing the love anymore. You're not going to be starving because you're not waiting for a person that's not even available. I promise you, they're not being available to that next person they're dating. They're really not. Unless they learn actually how to be more available and they meet a new person who actually knows how to be available. But this is where I said, or when your ex back, because if your ex really wants a true intimate relationship and you learn to clear this in you, you are the one blocking it in you. When you clear this in you, you make yourself more present to love and more able to love, and love flows through you more readily. And so you're like the best lover ever, the best person that can love another person, because you've done the work and you can be present. And so if they go to a place where they're not afraid of intimacy anymore, they will be magnetized and drawn back to you. And if they don't, it doesn't matter, because you're not missing love anymore. And so someone of that same frequency, that same resonance, that same tuned inness as you are, who's connected, when you choose love, then all of the love of God, the divine love, oh, look at the butterflies, the love of the Creator, like the love that flowed through Christ, flows through you and comes to you. You're blocking it off. When I'm staring at these 3 empty rows and they keep saying it's, Eckhart Tolle talks about this, and lots of other mystics and teachers, knowledgeable teachers teach about this. When we're staring at that empty front 3 rows, we keep making a story to that. I must not be worth someone showing up and being present in my life. And you are always worth them being present in your life. But we have this story with it because we are actually betraying ourselves to not be present. So you guys know, I hope you're understanding this, you are. I'm asking them to heal something that I'm not willing to do. I can let myself feel the sadness once and for all, like, okay, I'm going to cry about this person. Like, I loved this person so deeply. You guys know. It's all over all my videos. And it's just like, I loved other people in my life. I love Elliot. I love other people in my life so deeply. And it's just like, okay, I cry and let that person go, because these he's in my life and my mom and dad have free choice. And my friends that have bailed on me and not shown up or whatever, they have free choice. Let them be wherever they are, wherever they wish to be. Their level of intimacy is up to them. I choose me. I choose love. I choose to align myself with love. I choose to be loyal to love, higher than loyal to these people. The first commandment is, you shall have no other gods before me. If God is love, and we understand that on a deeper level, mystically, then you don't have any other God before honoring love. Seek first the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is the 5D kingdom of all love, of unconditional love. You're seeking first to align yourself with pure love and be that loving presence to yourself. Enlightenment, you're letting more light in, light and love, you know what they say. Yes, by leaving this space for them, I'm not dealing with reality as presented to me right now. Your parents are a no-show. Your ex is dating someone else. Whomever else is dear to you that you have these chairs reserved for have not earned this space. They are souls, like Namaste, my soul self sees your soul self. They are souls that are worth loving, but you do not need to leave this space for them anymore. They can still have love and find it another way. Oh, my phone is getting overheated. It's okay to let go. Otherwise, you're choosing fear. You're choosing fear of intimacy with them, and you're putting your life on hold with them. You are disrespecting your own self and not treating yourself in accordance and commensurate with your true worth. And it's like you're wearing a t-shirt that says, I'm not worth closeness, because you are creating this. It felt like they were creating this. And in childhood, your parents did create this, but right now you are creating this. You are worth truly loving. When you do this for yourself and you remove these roads and cry over it one last time and really let go, allow yourself to let go and see what comes up when you do let go. Because there's stuff underneath why we didn't. It's like the icing on a cake, but I used to say it's like sprinkles on a donut, that already has icing and sprinkles. These people were just going to bring their own version of sprinkles, and you can have all the sprinkles you want, and they can come add their sprinkles later. You're not saving the whole thing, waiting for them to show up. They can't be that anyway. As soon as this gets healed, it gets shifted and cleared, and then like I showed you that. Then, like I said, I can give the consequence to my child easily and clearly. I said it's like a fire hose to my poor kid. Yeah. So if someone else shows up and wants to offer you a relationship from 3 miles away, that's why I'd say someone who's not available for real intimacy, then you don't sign up for that anymore. You're not into that anymore. I'm just not that into you, because I'm not into someone who wants to have a relationship that's 3 miles away from me, closeness-wise, And so that's what you're used to from childhood, so you were unconsciously choosing that. And then if you're bored in relationships, that you're waiting for someone to entertain you, because you're used to not having intimacy. Okay, when you're not used to having intimacy, then you keep getting bored in every relationship because there's not intimacy. And so you keep waiting for people to entertain you, and they're waiting for you to entertain them or buy them stuff or whatever, all these superficial ego things. Have more sex, have better sex, whatever it is, people wait for because they're bored. Because if you think of two wires connecting creates sparks. If you really connect, then you're not bored because it's a live, dynamic relationship. You are alive within yourself and they are alive. And there's this deep connection. And there's disconnection because you're not choosing yourself. So goodbye, bye-bye. I never understood the phrase, cut your losses. And so I don't have to go into all this stuff. But here, let's see my list. I deserve great love, sweetness, closeness, cherishing, holding, emotionally and spiritually mature, safety, someone that is daring, because I choose to be daring, loving, and then I wrote loving again, deep presence, commitment, loyalty, reciprocity, kindness, fearlessness, courageous, affection, warmth, liveliness, respect, closeness, the song, Closer, Closer. I know what I want, that's over here, and when I let go of these other people, then I create the space for me to be more loving to myself. I'm actually saying you are worth loving, not waiting for these people that just make promises, because then I'm just making promises that these people are making promises. I'm saying to myself, well, they promise that they are going to love, and I promise I am going to love when they love. No, let go of them and just turn around and love yourself. You choose you. You're choosing to be loving to yourself by not waiting for them anymore. And so you show what you want by what you do. Your actions are speaking to yourself, and your actions are, hold on, I'm going to keep this space for them, instead of, I choose to align with love, and I choose to honor love and follow love first and not let anything get in the way of my commitment to that. So I was giving my power away, and you are too. If you saw this video, most likely, you're giving your power away for them to keep determining your worth. If you know that you're worth 100% of love, then show up and give yourself 100% of love. I know people are like, how do I love myself? Well, this is how, is you are actively choosing to wait for them and give yourself empty promises. And so you're not doing your own inner work. Guess what happened? Oh, I'm glad that I had to take my phone out of my case. Because look, I have this picture of Christ. You guys can stare at it with me for a second. I have a blessed cross in there too, but see him. For me, I did a meditation after this, after I wrote all this stuff down, because I do my meditations. Sometimes I do in the morning, but this morning I did. And I stared at this picture because I just felt this morning like I was called to. And I was like, do you love me? You know, oh, do you love me, mommy? You know, something like that. And I have this other icon of Christ that shows the masculine side of Christ and the feminine side of Christ. There's one half that's different than the other, but it looks like just one face. But so I was looking at both and meditating, and I was asking, and then I noticed why I was waiting for these other people is I was scared to know myself in a capacity, and then like I felt this love from Christ, and then I felt all this shame come up. I felt all this shame because I recognized that he did love me, and I can love me, and I was loving me by letting Christ love me. But the shame comes up because I was just like, will you forgive me for all these ways, unknowing, unconscious ways that I was begging for other people to love me? Like all these shameful ways, you know, you find ways that you have sold yourself out and you have betrayed yourself. Even if you wait for like 15 years for someone who says they love you to love you, you've been selling yourself out all this time. Or if you wait for someone else who you really feel love from, but that's not showing up to love you, whatever it is. Or I was thinking what came to my heart, like this came to this deep part of my heart. This is where I was crying, and I don't want to make myself cry right now or shut off the feelings, but I felt what happens when we're abused as children, as if we're sexually abused, then, or we were pushed into sex really early in childhood too, for some way or another, we learn the only way I can get closeness is sexually. And so people will go off and chase sexual ways of being close with people so much because they don't think that they're going to get it another way. The only way I can get this closeness, I'm not going to get it the real way, is to lie and steal it from people, or steal it, and make empty promises that I'm not going to follow through in, or cheat and get it from different people who are available, because these people aren't available right now, and these people are, but they're really not available because they're not open to a real relationship with me. And so it just all became really clear to me, and I was just crying because I was just like so embarrassed before Christ, who I felt was unconditionally loving me, for all the ways I sold myself out in all my childhood, all my life. Not childhood, well, yeah, childhood, teenage, whenever, in whatever ways I didn't honor staying by myself until I learned how to love and love myself in a real way, and that I didn't have to beg for anything. I don't have to wait for anybody. I don't have to wait for an ex. I don't have to try to get them back. I don't have to do any of this. I choose to show up, and I didn't know that I didn't want to face that shame. There was all this shame. And once I faced it, though, I invited myself to love myself and go, guess what? You're not defined by all those actions. You didn't know better, and I didn't know better. And now I know better, and I love better now. I love better. And I choose to love better. So thank you to all my exes and my parents for teaching me to look for more love, and to learn how to find it in myself, and learn that I was worth, and treat myself with that kind of worth and that kind of love, and forgive myself for the shame, and not be bound by running away from that shame of why I did this in such a dishonorable way inside myself. Now I can go back to this purity. It's like a resurrection. It is like my innocence. I can reclaim my innocence because I'm forgiven. It's not just words. All right. It's like this impossible thing that happened. Anyway, I wish you love. I talk about this in all my videos, but this is the deepest I've talked about it to explain it. I love you.